We got Scott Eastwood, Jeffrey Donovan, and it's a story centered around a criminal, high-profile British kingpin like criminal who decides to infiltrate a deals with transporting money to armory, like an armory truck facility, to find out the people who murdered his son. And this film is kind of like a Pulp Fiction style movie, action film. And the reason I say that because the story starts off in a specific little incident, and then the movie kind of jumps around how the main protagonist got to this location, and pretty much includes in all the loops, mostly in flashbacks, about how this character got to here, how this character got to there, and then you see the other perspectives of the of the antagonists, of how their involvement got to where their situation literally ends with them. And it's a very interesting approach of a action film that we don't normally get. Because I can tell you, I could see something like this may turn people off a little bit, especially the unique editing choices that Guy Pearson has decided to tell a story. I'm gonna tell you right now, this movie was awesome. I freaking loved it. Like, man, this is now. I wish I saw this movie in theaters. That's how great this movie was. Jason Statham plays a very stoic crime boss who literally witnessed the death of his son, and he is going through hell and back to figure out who's done it, and he'll do whatever it takes to get it. And man, this man is ruthless. This man never really, you never see his character really get emotional. You see him break down. You see him just tries to hold his composure, and you see him just so stoic. But you see this guy, he feels anger and wrath, and you just see that onto the screen. And Jason Statham, I think this is one of his best performances. And Guy Ritchie, I think this is, I know this is still early into the review, but I think this is one of his best movies. And the reason I would say that I think this is one of Guy Ritchie's best movies is because I think this film, Guy Ritchie, I haven't seen all this work, I believe he is able to pretty much craft a unique heist thriller and spin it in a way I thought was kind of unusual for a action film. Kind of like Vantage Point, where the film repeats itself but in different perspective, and each perspective that the film reveals more information in that perspective of the character. It starts to come together once you enter the final perspective, which this is not necessarily what this film does, but it does switch the story from, like, example, 5 months later, 3 months back, 3 weeks before, 2 weeks later, and then now you're at the centerpiece of the main story of where all these events took place. Now you're going on to the next moment into the plot. It was actually kind of fascinating where the reveal of how this film turns out, and I like how dark it gets, because there were some, let's say there were some moments in the film where I didn't expect it was going to go. It kept me guessing, it kept me interested, it kept me wanting to figure out what was going to happen next, and I loved the way this filmmaker chose to tell this story, and I really appreciate the craft that Guy Ritchie has done. The action scenes are great. There's not much kind of like in the between. It's really in the beginning and at the end. Like, it builds up to that action scene, and it rocks. Though I would have expected a little bit more, I guess, camera I guess, more camera creativity, given that this filmmaker also did the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. But beside that, this film rocks. Like, I had a great time watching this. If I watched this back in 2021, this would have been my top 10 movies of that year. And looking back at it, I can't believe it's already been 3 years. Because I remember seeing trailers and then ads for this movie, and it didn't even feel like that long ago. That's a little sidetrack, but time goes by fast and it's not even funny. Aside that, I thought this was a wonderful film. Josh Hartnett, who's in the film, to my surprise, I was expecting more of his role. And maybe, I think that's his first role he's gotten since coming back to Hollywood. So, for those who are a Josh Hartnett fan, he's in the film, but the role's not much significant in a way. But his character has an arc, but I thought it was fascinating the way, from what I thought, because of the actor. But all in all, I think this is one of the best Jason Statham movies and one of the best Guy Ritchie movies that I've seen. Check it out, Wrath of Man. Have you not seen it? Comment below, let me know if you have, and spread the word for anybody who's looking for a good masculine action movie. And subscribe for more, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.